recording. And Paramhans Yogananda ji gave a very beautiful, you might say, he solved this dilemma in a very simple way, which is the mark, and you might say the work of a master. He said, you see, you have to do your part. He said, you are part of God's creation quite uniquely. There's, he said, God never repeats himself. So he said, you are there. He said, but then God does 50% of the work. You do 25% of the work. And he said, your guru also does 25%, you might say, of his work. He will help you fill in the equation. 25 is you, 25 is your guru, and 50, he said, is God. And so then the question comes, and if we go by that statement and formula, well, 75% of your efforts, let's say in your spiritual growth or anything you do, and especially as we grow on the spiritual path, we are not self-serving. We want to serve others. So 75% of that clearly is happening by God and Guru's grace. Swami Kirananda ji used to say, he gave this example. He said, imagine Mahatma Gandhi one day waking up and turning to Kasturba Gandhi and he's saying, Kasturba, I'm tired of serving mankind. I think I'll go out and make $1 million. Swami used to say, even the most materialistic person would say, oh, Gandhiji has fallen. On the other hand, if a lazy person gets up and he turns to his mom and he says, Mom, I'm tired of lying down on the bed. I'm going to go out and make $1 million. The local priest perhaps would be called. Everybody will gather. They will bless him. They will give him some gifts and they will praise him. And actually, it is a step up for him. I give this example because we have to be aware. Awareness is the word. We can give somebody a gift. Let's say a blanket, medicines. Those are tangible things. It's easy to give that. And you see the need and you will say, hey, I can fill in that need. It's easy to give your skill, and you should. Each person, like I said, is uniquely placed. We have a skill. Years ago, I used to be a surgeon. That was my skill. What I had read, I could offer. And I said, hey, it feels good that, I can do this for you. But then comes the question, and I'm going to make it a little bit yogic over here, that we face death. And people say, here nothing can be done. And that is actually not true. Paramhans Yogananda ji 2 times in his life, at the guidance of God, brought back people after they had died. I have actually heard the account of one person myself. A few years ago, he called me. I won't narrate the full story, it's too long. He died in Kolkata. He was taken to Puri for cremation. He was from Puri. He said, and he's a friend of mine, he said, Aditya, I have death certificates, 2 of them. One from Kolkata Medical College, 16 hours later from Puri. And he said, in the postmortem room of Puri, my friend was there when my dead body was taken. He said, I woke up. And he said, Paramhans Yogananda has brought me back to life. I said, well, sure. Yes, I trust you. I believe in these things. I said, you must now utilize your life very, very wisely, which he is doing right now. But the point was that this topic, that how do we attune with God, with the Supreme Self, with the masters, their consciousness, and can it infuse power? I think my example is sufficient. It infuses tremendous power. Let me give you some more examples and then tell us, all share with us, how can we do it? Well, one example which always almost comes to my mind is Saint Francis of Assisi. I'll invite, thank you.
Doctor, you're on mute.
Oh, okay. So I was saying, Master loved Saint Francis very much. And there's this example of his life that he was from a very wealthy family. And a turning point came in his life where from using that money for himself, his friends, enjoying things just for himself, he experienced the joy of giving those resources to a beggar. And he felt good. And he started giving more and more money to them. As I said, he had a lot of friends. He gathered them, took more of them. They brought money, clothes, medicines. They went to the leper colony. I'm talking about the 11th century. It was, people wouldn't do it. People were banished if they had leprosy and such. Far out, they were outcast. And one day when he was doing this, people were praising him a lot. They had seen a complete transformation in a young man. But he wasn't happy with what he was doing. He knew there's more, but he didn't know what that is. Now he knew that there is something in the Bible that can help him. And so he went, after serving like this one day, everybody went home happy. He went to a cave and he was weeping. And he prayed to God this way. He said, Lord, everyone tells me I should be happy. There's no reason for me to be sad, but why am I not happy? I'm a good son. I'm helping others. Why am I not happy? And he heard the voice of Christ say to him, Oh, Francis, how could you ever be happy without me? And then you can imagine what he did from that day and moment. He said, My Lord, I always want to be in you, with you, channel you. I'm your child, I'm your instrument. And you see, so Francis became Saint Francis over a period of time because his gift to people, whether it was counseling, whether it was prayers, whether it was, he too brought dead people back to life. That power is not a human power. Like I said in the beginning, some money, ultimately it is all God, but we have to slowly increase our awareness, like I said. So if it's medicines or money or blanket or your skill, there is still the sense it's me, it's I. It may not be in a proud way, but it's still limited by the very I. Master said the ego is limited by its very nature. It is a limited individual expression of God. If you expand that, if you open your heart, if you invite the divine to flow through you and use you as an instrument, then Master said, so much more you could do for yourself and for others. I'll give you another example. Swami Kriyanandaji was, because this seems little philosophical, but it need not be. Kriyanandaji said, every morning I pray to God through my Guru. And I say to him, God, may your will be done, not mine. Here I am. What do you want me to do today? And he says, then you see, if you're sincerely praying even once like that, then he said, listen, and God will send you a thought or a person in your life. I recently came out of seclusion, and because I was so still, I was practicing and I had nothing else to do. I was still in the Himalayas. I had to take my train. In short, I reached the station before the train and I was on a bench where 5 people could sit. And there were 2 guys, one on each end. So naturally I would sit in the middle, but I was asking Divine Mother in every step. And you get a certain feeling of calmness. And Swami said, follow that. So I asked her, where should I sit? Yeah, I said, oh, maybe I should sit in the center, and felt good. But just to test it, I said, maybe I should sit on the side. And the feeling was, no, sit in the center. So I sat in the center and I started doing japa. 2 minutes later, a young man came and sat on my left. And within a minute, he saw my bangle, astrological bangle. And he said, we were not talking. He just said, Aap Ananda Sangha se hain? I said, yes. He said, I'm a Kriyaban from Ananda. And I looked at him because I know many of them. I said, where from? I said, online? He said, yes. Then he said, oh, you are Dr. Aditya. I was in regular civil clothes, no uniform. And he said, oh, I've seen your programs. Now, in retrospect, you see, Master and Divine Mother tell you where to sit also and where not to sit. If I was sitting there, maybe he would have sat somewhere else. So there are miracles always trying to happen if we attune ourselves to God. And Sri Yukteswarji, Yogananda's Guru, said, God will guide you in the details if you ask him. I want to give you another example, friends. So I was telling you about Swamiji. Kriyanandaji said, that's how I pray. And every day he would do that. And then he said, what comes in front of me, I keep talking to God throughout the day. And then I take my actions based on what a wonderful way. On one level, frankly, Master said, if you act that way, even if you are doing something wrong, if something, let's say, some mistake happens from you, he said, God will bring you to the correct destination, you may say, because your intentions were good. You were asking him. You may not have heard one particular instruction. It's like the Google map is on, but you were not paying attention for a while. So, okay, you'll go to the next junction, but you'll take a U-turn. The map, you asked for the map, and the map will bring you back. But if you never ask, if you never consult, if you say, well, I know where I'm going, I know how I'm going to serve, then Master said, it can be, as we know, a long, long time. And like today's topic is, you will do something. But is that the power of God through you? It's not like God's power needs to declare itself in a big way. You need not, he may actually make you a Muni. Swami used to say, who is a Muni? A Muni is a person who never speaks. But your silence, because you are in God and God has a plan, those things will work out very, very nicely. I want to give you another example, friends. Recently, this was told to me just 2 days ago. A devotee said, I met Jyotish and Deviji when they were in Pune recently. And he said, I just felt I should go up and talk to them. He said, I went to Deviji. And I said, can you please give me some guidance? And he was meeting her for the first time. And she said, she held his hand. She said, okay. And he was so restless. He said, any guidance, anything? She said, be quiet. Give me some time. And he said, yeah, but I don't want to bother. He said, this is not a bother. And she held his hand. And he said, after a minute, she gave him some advice. He didn't share what it was. And he said it was the same. It was the answer to a question he was hesitant in asking for the longest time. So I'm sharing that because there is a valid way to tune into God, which Deviji was doing, and to channel that. You see, you and I are instruments for one another to help the widow mothers of Vrindavan to lead our lives the way Master has in mind. I'll give you one final example, which was very touching for me many years ago when I was in college. And you'll see why I was wide-eyed when it happened. This was a night or two before some exams were coming for me in college. And after hours and hours of studying, I and a friend said, hey, let's go and have some coffee. And we went out. While coming, we saw a big crowd on the road, which was not there minutes ago. And what had happened was there was a big accident. And I realized time is precious. I told my friend, I said, I'm going to help somebody who's on the road. You go back. And so he went. I looked at this person. Long story short, this person was mumbling something. He was a laborer, an old man. He was bleeding all over. I carried him, took him, stopped some auto rickshaw, took him to the next door hospital. Except in just those few minutes, by the time I brought him, the doctor said, okay, wait outside. And she came out and she said, who is with him? I said, well, I'm with him. And she said, well, he's dead. I said, what? She said, he's dead. I said, come on, something could be done. He wasn't dead. I'm a doctor too. What can we do? She said, come, if you're a doctor, he's dead. I'm telling you, don't you see how much he's bled? Oh, I saw that. I said, oh my goodness. So anyway, the whole paperwork and all happened. But then I thought, and she told me he was lying in that blood for 45 minutes. She said, look at the clotting. You brought him, but he was lying there for 45 minutes. Anyway, I thought I'll raise some awareness about this, but my exam was also coming. So I spoke to my college through a forum, but I was like, God, I want to help. I want to take this message out. I want to do something. And my friend said, look, just give your exams and then you can do whatever you feel like doing. But this was like, he was like my very close friend. He had become that for me. And I was brushing my teeth one morning and I said, God, tomorrow I'm going to do something about this. Today I'm focusing on my exam. And I was brushing my teeth. And just then I was playing the radio and I heard this RJ, very famous RJ. I forget his name, but he said, hello, everybody. Good morning. He said, guess who's with me this morning? It's the commissioner of police. And I'm going to ask him a very important question, which I want everybody in Pune to hear. How do you help? Should you? And how do you help somebody who you find lying on the road? Because you can save a life. Let's listen from him. And he narrated every detail that I was trying to narrate and get it out. And you see, I inwardly felt this huge release and this wave of joy, blessings, and tears came down my cheeks. I said, my goodness, I don't know what power there is, but somebody has read my thought and my heart's feelings. I felt that. And then, of course, I would come on the path some years later and hear that thoughts are universally rooted. So you see, something was happening. I got that thought, and others were also tuning into that thought. And it was a need that was being trying to be addressed. But when you pray, and I was praying for those 2 days, God, please don't delay this. People are dying every day. I want to do something about this. And sometimes your prayer may be your work. And he may say, well, I'll get it done. Nothing is impossible for God. But Master said he does not work except through instruments. So I'll close by just allowing us in these coming days to think. I'm sure small incidents or big incidents have happened in your life where you say, hey, it happened through me. It happened in front of me. I didn't do it, but I witnessed a divine power at work. When we can bring that love, like Saint Francis, when Swami used to say you can bring joy, if you can give somebody joy, there is no suffering. Bodily suffering does not count then in front of divine joy. That is the power of divine attributes. And so your and my challenge and job as we serve one another and the widow mothers of Vrindavan is then to stay in touch with God, Guru, and that consciousness and channel it. And at first, it will be simple for a few minutes, for thoughts, for some actions. And then as we get adept, it will be more and more. And that's what we want to do. I'd like to now invite Divisha to guide us in an affirmation based on today's topic. And let's affirm together.
Thank you, Dr. Aditya, for such an inspiring satsang. I invite everyone now to practice this affirmation together. So let's sit upright. I'll share my screen so we can all tune into the affirmation. Okay. So our principle for today is attuning to the Supreme gives power to service. So we'll practice the affirmation loudly, then we'll keep reducing our volume softer and softer till we repeat it mentally, each time interiorizing the affirmation further. And then we'll mentally also say the prayer and enter into a brief meditation. So the affirmation is, I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. So let's sit upright. Focus our gaze at the point between the eyebrows. Double inhale, tensing the entire body. And double exhale, release, let go. One more time, double inhale, tense. Increase the tension with greater energy. Feel the vibration. And let go, a complete release here. Let's have our palms facing upwards. Bring our awareness to the breath. And with complete focus and intention, let's affirm. I will do my work thinking of thee. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. In your normal voice now, I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. Softer, I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. In a whisper now, I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. Let's affirm mentally, making our offering complete. I will do my work thinking of thee, Lord. I offer to thee the very best that is in me. Let's now say this prayer mentally. Beloved Lord, who so wonderfully created the high, snowy mountains, the bounding rivers, the colorful, fragrant flowers, the vast, heaving oceans, and the distant, glittering stars, manifest through me thy perfect joy. Let's meditate on these words now for the next couple of minutes. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all for joining the satsang today evening. For all of you who are part of the Circle of Love group, we'll be sharing the link to this video along with the affirmation and prayer with you every day. So for this entire month, let's tune into this affirmation, to this prayer, and imbibe the Seva principle, not just in our Seva for the mothers in Vrindavan, but in our day-to-day lives. Right? So thank you so much, and wishing you all a very, very happy and blessed New Year. We hope to see many of you in Vrindavan next year.
Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you soon. Thank you, Dr. Aditya. Thank you so much. And wishing you all a very, very, very happy New Year. Bye-bye. Jai Guru. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jaita. Thank you, Dirisha. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.